Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm happy to be back today, Monday morning. I think, what is it, Indigenous Day today? I saw the roads were pretty crowded, so I think people are going to school and going to work, but happy Indigenous Day to all out there. And I'm welcoming Eric to join me today. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Lot to talk about from Friday. We finally had a down day that was legitimate. Literally, computers almost broke on a 2.5%, 3% down move. It was wild.
I
Actually,
hope I hope you killed it, man, because you were looking for this one, and
I
you.
did well. I did well, but on to the next day. I'm trying to teach you that. If it was you, you'd be like wearing six gold chains, smiling, touting. I'm on to the next day. Okay,
There
so
we go.
yeah, Friday was good. I believe there's a lot more to come. This is actually a very good opening. Um, I like it. If you want to, get short, uh, they're using the excuse that Trump went from 55% tariffs, which are unsustainable no matter what. You can't survive a 55% tariff if you're selling goods. So, really, he went from a 55% tariff to a 100% tariff in November 1. Not like that day because he was really mad. November 1. We've seen this trick a million times. So, the market bounced over the weekend. Market is higher right now. I will tell you, I'm looking at puts, for later in this week and next week. They are sky high. I mean, if this move was really going to be extended or hold, these puts would not be pricing here. They're pricing crazy high. Even for today, they're high for the day. I'd love to look at the straddle. Usually we look at that later in the show, but it would be interesting to look at it today, and I would think it would be $70 minimum. Six.
Nope,
How much
no,
is it?
way off, way
How,
off.
how much is it?
45.
I think that's really low. And then if it's that low, I'm going to start hitting
Let's just,
options.
let's just double check if that's correct. But I mean, it's incredibly low. But
I
I'm
don't
seeing
know how it could be that
45.
low. I'm selling puts. No way. I mean, the 75 puts for today, which are on an implied basis 55 points out of the money are $11. So I can't imagine that. So I'm going to have to go look on my screen. So give me a second. Um,
I'm looking at 66.25 straddle SPX.
okay, well, I don't know. I mean, if it's that low, it's very surprising because puts around it, especially for tomorrow, are sky high.
Well, China softened their tone. They're like,
No,
stop this.
these straddles are higher.
Come to
They're,
the negotiating table.
the straddle is 50 plus right now, over 50 for the day. Um, I'm trying to
Are we
look
seeing the
here.
same thing? I don't know. I'm seeing a 45, but okay.
No, the straddle is 40. The 20 straddle is 19 and 29. So that's 49, 48, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's semantics. So we have a $50 straddle, which is a lot better than the straddle that we've seen in the past. It's just interesting how they keep gunning the market back, and they're like, you know, I don't understand it. Like they're like, oh, he said good things. He said she's a great guy. Okay, I mean that's rallying the market trillions of dollars because he goes, Chi is a good guy and he made a mistake. Yet over the weekend, China doubled down on us, literally doubled down on us. And
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. The market is absolutely correct to overreact right now on every snippet of news,
why?
because if there's
Why do you
because
say
if
that?
there's no rare earth, there's no AI trade going forward. This whole build out is based on having capacity is based on having the resources to do it. And if China's going to really exert and use that leverage, then there is no AI trade.
I want to understand the build out. Okay, since you're talking about the build out and why it needs so much energy and so many things. What does it need so much? Like, let's say tomorrow afternoon or next week. What are they doing differently next week than they're doing now? Why do they need so much more power? There's nothing really going on. Like, it's Chat GBT, it's Google AI. Like,
Well, it's
what
actually not.
more?
It's not just chat. It's not the models that we use in Chat GPT and Google. They already have different models that are far superior that can come online because they just don't have the compute they need to build that. It's not like any
Well, what
other.
are you using Chat GBT for? That's what I'm like. I know what I don't use that. I use Google to get my information, but I'm just Googling things. I'm like looking stuff up. I'm getting information. Like if you said to me, Larry, how many down 2.5% down days do we have in the last 2 years? I Google it. Okay. I don't know what is the big AI idea or
Larry,
trade
if
that's
you
going to
hired
use
a few
so much
quants,
energy.
if you would hire a couple of quants and have them in your office all day, you would see what they're using Chat GPT for. I mean,
Okay, so they're using ChatGPT to get more data or market information. I get that. That's not $1 trillion business. Okay. Trading in itself, you know what's funny? Like, we're in the business and, I watch Bloomberg TV, but if you watch like CNBC, okay, which I wouldn't watch, but if you want to watch that noise, they have no, literally, they have less than a couple of 100,000 people a day watching that. Their audience is, I'd love to, why don't you Google that? See what CNBC's audience is. So, how many quants are there, computing stuff? What do you got? 1,000, maybe not even, probably 500. Like, how many great traders are there in the world? Like, how many great quants are there? Everyone can pretend, but the bottom line
I'm not,
is,
look,
and timeout. I'm throwing a timeout. Just 1 second. Okay. Now you're getting me pissed. Okay. Your
Chat.
quant that you have behind you, sitting in a room behind that curtain back there, whatever your quants are, they can't touch Citadel, Jane Street, Virtu, or any of these firms. You want to know why, Eric? Because they have high speed lines to the exchange that can blow your quants out of
You,
the water.
well, you
So
don't think they use AI? Of course they
I'm
do.
not saying they're not using AI. I'm saying whoever is building AI, if you don't have a minimum of $1 billion, a billion, I'm not talking about a little, a billion that you're putting into high speed lines, connectivity, all this other stuff, along with quote unquote your AI, then you're missing the boat here. You're missing the boat. You can't compete, dude. I know you think you're quant, all your quants and this. You can't compete. You cannot compete. That's why they're making Jane Street is up 8.5 billion going
All right,
into this
I
sell-off.
guess
I'm
let's
just
close
letting you
up
know. Are
shop.
you up
Close
8.5
up
billion?
shop then. Let's just
What?
close up shop. If
I'm
we
not
have
saying
no edge,
close up
what are we
shop.
doing?
You can't compete with them. These other algos are getting eaten up, or quants are getting eaten up by the fact that they can't execute fast enough. They can't.
Real.
Like, how are you connecting to the exchange? That's the question. These guys are connected at the server, which is not on the exchange. I mean, it'll take 5 shows to really go into this whole methodology. Okay. You can't compete. Okay. It's very, very difficult. And listen, my question is this. Okay. Who's down the money? Who's down the money? If Jane Street's up 8.5 billion and Citadel's up 4.8 billion and this other firm is up 11 billion and Virtu is up 7 billion, who's losing? I'd love to understand that you're talking about billions and billions. I know it's retail and it's the public, and we went into a little bit our last show about how your orders are being sold, okay, to different firms. They don't go your order. If you're at IB or you're at Fidelity or you're at E-Trade, your orders are not, or especially Robinhood, your orders aren't even going to the exchange. They're going to like a dark pool or wherever they're going, and they're being executed by a firm that's taking a toll or taking money to execute your trades, which is unfair. And we discussed that Europe is going to end payment for order flow at the end of the year, and we should do it too. There's no reason. But when you talk about how quants are using it, dude, quants can't. I mean, how many great quant shops are there? And I would say they're not even quant shops. They're, Jane Street, Citadel, Susquehanna, Virtu. They're high speed.
I mean, is
Um,
your stance that there's no use for AI? Is that what you're
I
trying
didn't
to say?
say, Eric. I did. I'm saying that your AI, whatever you're doing, does not have a chance against
Forget
the.
about what I'm doing. There, what AI is
Okay,
really
okay. So no, I'm saying there's a if you're not. I don't know if the barrier to entry is 100 million, 500 million, or a billion, but those are the numbers that you need to compete. You're playing with Magic Johnson in his
actually,
prime. How are you
actually,
beating Magic in one on one? How are
what's
you going to
interesting
beat
is
Magic
AI has lowered the entry to barrier for a lot of startups and a lot of people
in trading?
in
No
everything,
chance. No
in
chance.
everything.
No chance. We're talking, dude, we
Forget
could
about trading.
get to
I'm
the
talking about
time out.
everything else we
We
use.
could get to the everything after we get to what we're talking about. You're saying quants are popping up using ChatGPT to trade, ChatGPT to trade, and they're trading against billion-dollar firms, and they have an advantage with low latency, low speed trading where you're trading. Listen, I know what I am. Okay. I'm the guy, okay, when I execute, I'm doing a decent size order and I'm paying my toll. I'm not happy about it, but I've accepted it, okay? But if you think you're quant and you're firing orders left and right and whatever, you're going to be in trouble. I'm just telling you. And these computers, and Thomas isn't here today, or isn't here right now. He is here today. Thomas can tell you when I put an order on my server, not even like in the market, they know the market moves. I'm like, how can the market move? They don't even know. They have every advantage under the sun. So, as far as using AI to trade, yeah, maybe it could help you a little, but you're not going to compete with the behemoths. And then my thought is if Jane Street is probably now up over 10 billion or more, okay? And all these other firms are up huge. The people losing are the guys thinking they can do AI and potentially the retail public because who's losing? Tell me who's losing. Jane Street put out they're up 8.5 billion. That's a pretty damn good number. 7 months in or 8 months into the year when they put it out. Okay. And there's five other firms. So I'm asking you who's losing?
Listen,
Who's
there's a lot of hedge funds out there. There's a lot of big time institutional traders out there, and they take a little piece off of each trade. If you want to ask me for a guess, I would say they probably take around 0.5% of profitability from basically every hedge fund across the industry.
I
Probably.
don't know. That I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I think this is more of a listen. I'm going to tell you on Thursday in Nvidia, okay, which is probably the most overowned stock in the history of stocks, but that's for a later date.
By the way,
So,
has gapped up right back to about 189.
okay, dude, it actually has never really settled above 190. It settled one day above 190. It's great. That wait, I was reading this weekend. Someone sent me an article on China and how basically China has said they're not buying the H20 chip if hell froze over. So I don't know, and then who knows? But I don't want to really get into Nvidia on this podcast because we actually had a very large relative down move. It's funny, you were texting me, oh, eighth largest point down day, blah, blah, blah. Dude, it was a 2% down day in S&P,
Not a
2%.
big one. That was my point. It wasn't a big one by historical standards at all.
No, but you were saying points. How you can't measure points because we've never been here. So when we have a 10% correction, that's 700 S&P points. Okay? That's going to be bigger than the crash of 1987 on points. It's just a different market. We're at a different level. So you can't measure things in points. You have to measure them in percentage. I'm just surprised again that the market just looks for anything to buy. And I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm one guy, and I didn't get caught offside off the sell off. Okay. I don't know who got caught offside because the options were priced so high that you needed a 150 handle move, a 10. We've retraced half the down move of Friday. How is that even possible? Off of what?
Off of hope, off of hope
Hope of what,
for supply of rare earth to continue the AI trade.
Eric? Listen, they doubled down.
This is what it's all about right now. This is
I
what it's all
understand they
about.
doubled it. So what do they think? Trump's going to come out and be like, "Hey, we're all done. She's an amazing guy," and then a week later he's going to be
I
like,
told you
"She is
Friday
the
after
worst."
the close, I sent you that emoji of a taco. He tacoed quick. He started Friday. The whole
Yeah,
thing
but
started
he
where he
no.
started
What he
tweeting and
did
talking.
was no, no. What he did was lay up his friends. Told them he would tweet whatever or go on Truth Social. They all had puts. They all cashed him in. Then he comes out after and he's like, "You guys should buy the market." It's unbelievable that the market. But listen, taking Trump out of the equation and taking the BS of what he's saying today and what he's going to say tomorrow and whatever. What's funny about it, I said this to you, he upped tariffs on China multiple times in the last 4 months, and the market didn't even look at it. Okay, didn't even look at it. There
Well,
was
what's
one time,
interesting was after Liberation Day, the market dropped, and he came out and said, "Look, I'm gonna." That day where the market goes up 12%, he said, no more tariffs for like 90 days. What he left out back then in April was actually China. China was always in the background and they were like trying to get to the table, but the market really ignored that for a while and now
but
it's
Eric,
back.
55% tariffs are not doable to run a business. You can't pay 55%. And now they're tariffing every ship coming into China. Okay. So the bottom line is people were still doing business there or are still doing business there, including Apple and many others, that were hoping or thinking that these tariffs would damp down and they don't. So that's the thing that's really, really weird. Okay. Really weird. And it's just mind blowing that we're okay with 55% tariffs. We're okay. He said he's going. The whole thing is literally the market is so frothy and so overvalued, and I'm still going with that. Okay, and in a big way, and the bottom line is it's frothy and overvalued. And this was an excuse to have a down day of 2% that you would have thought the world ended. Literally, you would have thought the world freaking ended. You don't
Yeah,
agree?
people on our chat are mentioning Bitcoin, and yeah, you would have thought the world ended. 1.6 million crypto traders got liquidated on Friday,
Well, what is
and
that telling you? What is that
and
telling you?
and crypto's right back, pretty much. What does that tell me? It tells me they were over leveraged as they always are at the high.
Okay, well, I don't. Why would
As
they
is
need
the
to be?
market in
Why would
general.
they need to be taken out on a 5% or 7% crypto move? Why? That seems very tightly wound. No, crypto
Tightly wound.
moves 5%. Should move 5% every day. It's not even real.
Well, that's what happens when everybody keeps buying the high. Everybody in this market constantly looks for higher prices for confirmation to get even bigger and bigger. And so the market gets very tightly wound. The stock market is the same thing, I would say, incredibly tightly wound.
No, it is not. I'm saying
Oh,
no
for
chance.
gamma. That makes it
Eric,
prone to
and then
gamma.
but the gamma is so tight that something really bad can happen because you're just saying to
Right.
me they liquidated a million crypto traders for
More.
literally where did crypto go? It went from 115 or 114 to 107. Okay, on a blip, and it was right back to 112 in two
I know.
seconds. So how could they
Crazy, man.
liquidate a million traders?
They
Who's
did.
buying the other side? I'm
Because
just saying, who
they're
was there?
using leverage like crazy.
Right.
They're not going in cash. They're using leverage. They're putting in $1,000 to
Oh,
trade 10.
time out. Doesn't that sound like hold on. Doesn't that sound like the US stock market? I was
That's
getting to this in
that's my point.
Nvidia on Thursday. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen since I've been trading. These maniacs bought 10 no, I'm sorry, they bought a million calls in 10 minutes. A million.
When
A
was that? That
million.
wasn't that Thursday?
Thursday. Right.
Yeah.
Thursday. Okay. You know how many puts were bought? None. Like zero. What kind of trade is that? A friend of mine who I'm hoping is watching, he calls it, I forgot what he calls it. Um, but they used to do it in Tesla. It's like the rocket ship trade. So what they do is they come in Tesla as a gang of like 80,000 one lots, okay, or five lots, and they're bigger than the entire market, and they used to send Tesla up a jillion because of the gamma. Now they're trying the same crap in the largest stock in the world, you know? But how is that? How Oh, it's called igniting it. They ignite these stocks by by putting massive call volume on, but it's you don't understand what's crazy about it, and it freaks me out. I ran $1 billion, okay? I couldn't move any markets. I traded only liquid things. I wouldn't even touch anything that I would have the ability to move a market or do anything. These clowns, I'm going to call them criminals. I'm sorry if hopefully you're not one of them, but these guys sit in a chat room and they look to jam stocks. Okay, should be highly illegal. It's almost like robbing a bank. It's literally almost like robbing a bank. Okay. They get together, they're chatting up. Oh, look at this. Let's jam this. And then somehow there's a leader, like in the meme revolution. One of the leaders was that Hello Kitty, right? He got everyone behind him. What's Hello Kitty doing? I had another
But
guy
hey,
I'm friends with.
I
He's
would
like,
say
oh,
you're
he
like
put a picture of a
I would
cat
say
on
you're
it,
like Hello Kitty too. You're
right?
also in a way like Hello Kitty because I've traded with you. I know you put out an alert or another person on your level puts out an alert for his clients. There's massive volume that you could see in the option chain.
Well, I'm
Right
gonna
away.
tell you. I'm
All
gonna
these
tell
option
you.
flow places see this and other trading services see this. Guess what they start doing? They start adding to it.
I'll tell you a funny, quick story for everyone out there. So I started my service in 2017. Okay. And I joined a much bigger company 2018, beginning of 2019. I basically was trading pot stocks when they were hot. And Tilray was my first recommendation when I worked for this public company that I still work for today.
I remember that.
Okay. I gave a recommendation. My clients bought 70,000. And this is back before we were doing the volumes we're doing now. 70,000 call options.
I don't
Okay.
think people know how massive that is.
Well, I'm saying it isn't anymore. I mean, Nvidia did a million in 10 minutes, okay? In the Because what happened
Massive.
is, well, no, what I'm going to explain to you back in 17, 18, even 19, 20, nobody traded options. Everyone was afraid of options, scared. Like it's funny in the newsletter business, options are the greatest thing ever invented, by the way, for anyone watching. You got to learn them, you got to understand them. It gives you inherent leverage, it gives you ways to hedge your positions. It is flexible. You never have to take delivery of stock. You can control thousands of shares of stock with thousands of dollars. You talk about leverage, okay? You just don't ever want to take delivery because that could be a problem, okay? So the bottom line is back then no one was trading. Now it's like a joke. These chat rooms have figured out through Hello Kitty and all this stuff because what happened the backstory on GameStop, okay, was they couldn't buy enough stock to move the stock. So they started buying options. And let's say the stock was 140. They were buying the 400 calls for like a dollar off Citadel. They literally, I'm telling you, this is fact. They had Citadel out of business pre-open that day that stock went to 500 and then the SEC came in and said sell only. Sell only. We got to save the
No,
world. Sell
Robin Hood
only.
turned it off. Robin Hood stopped it. Remember?
No, the SEC told them that they couldn't keep doing it.
Well,
They
yeah,
would
but
have
wasn't there a thing where in Robin Hood you couldn't sell, you couldn't short, something like that?
no, you couldn't buy any more GameStop options or stock. You could only close positions. That is
Right.
so criminal. But Citadel, you don't understand. Before anyone knew, Citadel was selling hundreds of thousands of these out of the money calls, and they got murdered. I mean, they were dead out of business. I mean, billions and billions and billions and billions lost pre-open, and then they saved the market. But now all these firms know how the game works, so they don't sell those options to those guys. They buy options with those guys. So I'm jumping around, but let's get back to the first trade I ever did. It was a Tilray call option. I bought 70,000. I didn't. My subscribers and people that watched me bought 70,000. There were algorithms kicking in behind me, off of volume, buying tens of thousands of these options, okay,
Exactly.
because there was volume. It's crazy. They were sniffing out volume. Meanwhile, it was a bunch of retail, customers
Exactly.
of mine that were doing this. So what I would say to you is after that recommendation, I have never, ever, ever put a recommendation in a stock that's not really a top 50 or top 100 stock because we don't, and now a lot of these stocks can handle that, but we don't want to move the market. We don't want to be that. I could imagine like the movie Wall Street with Stock Watch, watching, this volume go through, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but to be honest with you, that's what the chat rooms live for. They live for this stuff. Okay. They live to get together and manipulate stocks up and down. So, listen, you can be in that chat room. I feel like it's like robbing a bank. It's like stealing. And you got to hope that you're in it. You got to hope you're that guy that they're listening to because, you know, there's a guy in this space.
I'll tell you what about chat rooms. A lot of them went real quiet on Friday.
Yeah. Why? Because they can only buy. There's so
Exactly.
many. Can I tell people out there there's so much more money to be made on the short side? So much more money, especially in
Oh,
options. I mean, listen, you saw it right at 4 o'clock. The VIX went from 21 to like 27 in like 5 seconds. Okay. And then it came right back in. But that's money that's exponential money. But for whatever reason, people out there are not sophisticated enough to understand that you could use put options exactly the same way you can use call options. So, that's something that I would share with people. There are ways to make money on the downside. The down moves are quicker. I actually think this is a really good opening for people that want to either liquidate some longs or get short. It's just unbelievable. I mean, the market is literally
by
halfway
the way,
back pre-open.
funny thing, our chat just corrected us. It's not Hello Kitty, it's Roaring Kitty.
I know.
Just
I know it's Roaring Kitty. I just call him Hello Kitty because that's like something my grandkids have. Whatever. Roaring Kitty, Hello Kitty. But I mean, come
just
on.
wanted to make
You
sure we
made
all
if
got that.
you if you made a show about it, And you saw what that guy looked like. And I think it was about a year and a half ago. He did like a special presentation. The kid was wearing, he was wearing like pajamas and a diaper. I mean, it was like ridiculous. And actually, everybody's listening to this guy like he's the Messiah. You couldn't make this stuff up. You know what I'm saying? They're not listening to Paul Tudor Jones. They're
Uh,
listening to Hello Kitty or Roaring Kitty.
what
Uh,
what's 30% annualized per year? That's
you
nothing.
know. And then let's get to gold for a second,
Ah,
making
gold.
record highs. Okay, my
Yeah,
question
baby.
my question is this: on Friday, they were all concerned about gold and that it was going up and this and that, and it's a big problem. Da 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 da. Now gold's up 100 today, 100, and
Hmm.
no problem for anything. It's just this is what's happened in our market. And our
Wait, wait, wait,
market.
wait, wait, wait. What's happening? Are you don't agree with the gold move?
No, I'm saying they said the gold move is very, very like I'll tell you what, okay? The biggest and best minds in the business are saying that this is signaling 1970s style inflation, okay, with a lot of froth and risk in the stock market. So, what I'm saying to you is now we're blowing through record highs, and the stock market could care less. Gold could go to 5,000 this afternoon and it won't matter. It's a very weird. I'm just telling you, it's a very weird market. It's a very weird thing, and it's weird that nobody cares at all about gold in the market or what it actually means. And you're looking at it like, oh, the central banks are storing it and da, 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 da. Listen, let me ask you a question. You're the United States government right now. You are the I'm making you the government. You have a bucket load of gold, okay? You have a massive deficit. You're not selling any gold here. Listen, when crude, it's very funny. When crude oil, I it wouldn't shock me one day, in the near future, if this keeps going on, that Trump doesn't pop gold into the market. It would not surprise me. Okay? Because why wouldn't the government, who's been sitting on stale gold for 40 or 50 years, stale gold, okay? Why wouldn't they freaking unload it? They just what do they need it for, Eric? They don't need it for anything. What do
I'll
they
tell
need?
you something. I'll tell you. I think gold. A lot of traders look at gold and they're like, "Hey, what's going on? It's not reacting to interest rates, meaning rates go up or down, gold goes up regardless. It's not reacting to the dollar, dollar up or down, gold up regardless." So there's a hand in the market that is just buying regardless, and that hand is China. They're stockpiling gold in their warehouses. They want to become the central hub of
But
gold
what
trading
let me ask
around
you
the world.
honestly, what's that going to do for them? I'm being dead honest. What's it going to do for them?
It's interesting. Trump in his tweets on Friday accused China of plotting this and threatening this
Well, no,
uh,
it's the
for
big
years to come.
it's
And
the
this is part of what China is planning. It's to dethrone the dollar. China hasn't forgotten the first quarter when tariffs rocked the market. The market forgot, but China never forgot. Central banks around the world never forgot. And the theme of de-dollarization and deglobalization, now referred to as the debasement trade of just buying gold, yeah, they haven't forgotten. And you know, I don't think that's going to stop. That's just going to continue.
okay, but then how is the Dude, this is what I don't understand. You're saying China wants out of the dollar. You're saying all these countries want out of the dollar. I ran a promo um, about the BRICS countries. I actually think it may be prevalent, but they tried to start their own currency. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, and China's one of them. Okay, so the bottom line is if they don't want the US dollar, why would the United States stock market continue to rally like crazy when nobody other than our, retail and whatever is buying our market because China's not you think China's buying us right now? I would say zero. I would
Yeah,
say one day you're going to look at their bond holdings and they're actually going to be below zero. So who's buying us? Hello Kitty? Roaring Kitty? Roaring
It's the
Kitty's
AI
buying us.
trade. It's the AI. By the way, the AI trade. We have another headline for AI.
What?
OpenAI and
They
Broadcom.
invested 42 trillion in the da 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 da, and they
Well,
have a sideways deal. Okay,
very close, very
okay,
close, but
whatever.
not exactly. OpenAI and Broadcom plan custom data center chips for
Why? Let
2026.
me ask you a question. Why is this guy on the tape every single day? Why? Like, I'm not understanding. He's doing quadrillion-dollar deals. First of all, I don't know. Somehow this guy is coming up on my social media, Sam Altman.
Yep.
He's not. He doesn't even seem. I know he's brilliant, but he doesn't even seem. He seems goofy. Like it's
Well,
weird. Like, and he's doing these weird videos. Like I don't even know. I don't
dude,
even
East
understand
Silicon
it.
Valley, everybody looks goofy. Come on, man.
No, I'm just telling you
You,
that
you
that
look.
he
I know you were cool in high school.
whatever.
I know that. But the nerds all looked goofy, dude.
No, but he doesn't talk well, and he just seems
Yeah,
like
they don't talk well.
I mean, and he's out of it. And then my question is, why'd the guy get fired and why'd they bring him back? That's what I want to understand. He obviously did something pretty bad to get fired from his own company, and then they brought him back. And then all he does is day after day announce, you know, 100 billion here, 400 billion there, 800 billion here, 1 trillion there, and the company itself has no money. Okay? The only money they have is if they raise money. They're operating at a net deficit. Okay? So whatever. I don't want to spend much time. I was talking about gold. You sidetracked me. Anyway, so like the gold trade to me is more concerning on an inflation level. And I
Yes.
want to get to this for a second. Think about this. I'm looking at my Bloomberg right now, and it says a list of government economic indicators are not being released because the government is shut down. It is now week 4 of the
Oh yeah,
government
the government
shutdown.
is shut down. I forgot about that.
Well, the government is shut down. Okay. Somehow Besson said it's 100 billion a week to GDP. That's a number. Okay. You're going to be at a trillion, okay, before you bat eyes, okay? How is that okay? How are
That
we
can't be
okay?
right. It can't be right. 100 billion a day
No,
out
a
of the
week, a
GDP
week, a week, a
a
hundred
week.
billion a week, 100 billion a week, and it makes sense. The government's
Does
not spending a dollar, dude. Government spending is like half of GDP. I mean, the government's not spending a dime. People, you know what's funny? Trump fired a bunch of people and then he brought them back. And I mean, what is with this taco guy? Like, can he like do something and stick to it? I just don't understand it. I really don't. Like he tried to fire the CDC people. Now they're getting backlash. They're bringing them back. It's when are they gonna bring the government back? That's the question. Like, right now he's in Israel at least till tomorrow. He won't be on soil till tomorrow or even the next day. So basically this week is shot for the most part. You're on week 4 or 5. When does it matter? When does it matter? Never. Doesn't matter. The government's shut down. It's good. Bullish. I'm telling you, and it may not happen this week. And it would be interesting if it happened next week, which is a serial expiration for October. And it would be interesting if we have a full dislocation next week. I'm thinking it could happen. So we'll,
it's all just it's all look. It's to me, it's gonna depend, and this is a very tricky time to trade because
why?
we're back to that April thing. I think market was at an all-time high, tightly wound. Positioning was such that it was like the market will go up in perpetuity. Now we have this trigger, and to me, look, it's no rare earth, no AI trade, so it's going to get really headline driven now, like more so than it has in the last few months. How are you playing this? Like how do you think people should approach every single trading day?
I listen, I'm not wavering from what I said. I know I'm getting, people are mad, blah, blah, blah. Um, I would be hedging my positions at minimum. That means if you're long stock, buy some puts underneath the market. One of my really good friends made millions of dollars trading, crazy AI. He's not even in the business, made millions. And I've been begging him and begging him to put collars on his position. He finally listened, and we were together on Saturday. And he's like, man, those collars really worked. I was going to lose 250,000. I only lost 100,000 or 120,000. So I would recommend putting collars on trades.
So give me an example of a collar.
So you're long NVIDIA, okay? You sell a call out of the money or at the money, depending. So if the stock's 189 or wherever it is, you sell the 190 calls for a month or two or even three out. Okay, so you take in the premium for that. Let's say you get $4 or $5. So that brings your level down to 184. Then you take the money that you got from that and you buy a 170 or 175 put for four. So basically, you're now stopped out in your stock at 175. Yeah, you're going to lose money if it goes from 189 to 175, but you bought the stock at $90. So it's a pretty good guaranteed win. And I like that trade, and I think it's important to do that. And I want people out there to understand this. Nothing goes up forever. And when we get into periods of time like this, it gets sticky. I mean, it could get hairy out there. And, people freaked on Friday. Freaked, dude. People were freaking on Friday. Okay. Hey, on a 2.5% down day and a 3% down day on NASDAQ. Freaking. I think a lot of it, what made the move very, very interesting is the move came at 11. I don't know. Thomas would remember because we missed 8 trades. So what time was it?
He
Like
was getting Starbucks.
10:50 or something. I'm just saying he wasn't at Starbucks. He was here
By
and
the
was
way,
filming
the
everything.
chat thinks that since Thomas is back in the background,
We're going
uh,
up. I
we're
know. I didn't even invite him into the office today, and that is the truth. Why did you come in?
good
We
job,
were on
man.
a
Good
freaking
job,
run.
Thomas.
We were on a run, everybody, and he came
Help the
back.
Bulls
I
out.
didn't even
Help the
invite him
Bulls
in.
out.
We're on like a 2-day run, and he showed up this morning. I don't know
I,
what. And the
hey,
market's up
you
80.
can't make it up. As soon as he came in,
Oh
Broadcom
no,
was
it's
doing a deal with
unbelievable.
OpenAI.
Wait, he can't get here on time. I say stay home. I say stay home. You can roll out of bed at 7:30 and you won't be late. And he still wanted to come in today to hurt all of our subscribers. So yes, I apologize. He's here. If it gets a little worse, we might have to send him home. But he is here, and it is an update somehow. He is he's one of a kind. But anyway, that gold trade is very interesting to me. I think it's more interesting right now than it's been on the whole move, and I think this is inflation running rampant all over the place. And I think I'm asking you, okay, and we're running late. We've been chatting it up, but I'm asking you. I'd like to see the Fed odds of October because I can't imagine if the government is closed that they're going to cut rates. So why don't you pull that up? I'm going against your 90% or whatever, 98%. I'm going
It's
against
not.
it. What?
The odds went up actually that they're going to cut.
Well,
It's
how
now
could they go up? You
97%.
said they were
90,
98%.
it's no, it was 94%. Now it's 97%, which is a rounding error.
Yeah, but my
But
question is,
the
how can you put on?
December cut, now
But
the December cut is priced in at 94. It's priced in that we're going to get 2 rate cuts by December 10th with a 94% probability,
because Clint thought
according
it
to
was, Clint
according
was
to
on
Fed.
with me. Clint was on with me last week, and he thought that it's priced out for two. So I don't know. Maybe you got a broken machine there. Can you
Yeah,
look up?
priced out for two. That's what it is.
No, no. He thinks there's only going to be one. But whatever.
Uh,
We'll see. Listen, I
no,
don't. I don't think it would be wise in the Fed's mantra to cut rates without knowing data. So unless they're getting the data, which I don't see how they can, how can they cut rates? How do they know? They don't know what CPI is. They don't know what PCE is. They don't even know the unemployment numbers. So what if the unemployment number was good? Like, how are they cutting and not knowing a number? And then my better question is, if you're saying it's 97% price for two for the end of the year, I want
93%,
I
90.
want you to find Thomas. Can you find a trade that we can do to bet again? I would bet massive sums of money against that. Massive. What are you going to lose? You can't lose anything. If you're telling me it's almost 100% guaranteed for two, I mean, there's no way that trade will not work. No way. No way. I'm just
Yeah, but how
letting
do
you.
you put that on?
I don't
You
know.
gotta
I gotta find it.
trade Fed fund
I
futures somehow.
gotta right. So we're not gonna trade Fed fund
But for
futures.
the retail public, other than
We are
playing around
going.
with
Listen,
TLT or
Eric, we
something,
are going to look for the trade, and hopefully we get it. And we're gonna
I'd be
give it to
curious
you
to find
tomorrow.
out what you come up with on that
I
one.
am. I'm gonna tell you tomorrow. I got
Okay,
my quant. I got my quants. See him behind there? We got the quant working, dude.
you got the
Dude,
quants
it's
using.
like AI. It's like AI. Every single person that works for me, you're a quant. Clint's a
Listen,
quant.
Larry,
He's a
what AI
quant.
is really
Everybody's
doing,
a
you're
quant,
looking at AI
dude.
right now, but what
Dude,
AI is really gunning for
dude,
is the global $50 trillion labor market. That's what they want. They want to take everybody's
dude,
jobs.
you're epic today. But all I could say is these are buzzwords. So you're a quant. You work with me. Thomas works with me. He's a quant. Clint's a quant. I'm a quant. And I'm
I'm
an
not.
AI guy. I'm
I'm
AI.
not.
I have AI. All these
I
are
never said I'm
above.
a client.
Dude,
You want to see real? I've worked
oh,
with real
wait a second, Thomas.
guys.
He just said he's not a quant. That's actually the funniest thing I ever heard. That's all you say. I'm a quant. I'm a quant. You are the OG quant for everyone watching out there. The
That's
OG.
right.
But everybody's a quant and everybody's AI. Everything is
I'll
AI.
tell you what. Quantitative trading is far superior than discretionary trading, where you roll out of bed in a bad mood and it can mess up your whole day. That's what
Oh, okay.
quantitative
But
trading.
your program that you programmed, okay, to do whatever you programmed it, you think is better than me? Okay, I'll go up against that all day. I know.
I'm not saying you.
I
I'm
see
just
this
saying
and I see
discretionary
that.
traders.
Dude.
You know,
Hmm. Your quant models are
win
out of.
rates are much higher, baby.
Dude, you got a quant model running with a $30,000 budget. I know. I, I, you're competing against Citadel. It's fucking awesome. Excuse
Well,
my
what are you
language.
competing against? Who do you think you're competing against?
What do you mean? I'm unfortunately being. I'm
Also
paying.
competing with
No,
them. Yeah.
I'm compete. I'm no no. I'm paying a tax to trade, and I'm
Okay.
unfortunately aware of that. On top of again, we're getting close. I don't want to go for another five, so I want to just wrap up. But I
Yeah, 30
I
days in a row, the market goes up. You think you're just paying a tax. They're jamming the market up every day
what do you
and manipulating
Eric,
everything.
Eric,
All you think
Eric,
you're doing is
you're not
paying a
letting me
small.
talk. You're not letting me speak. I'm going to explain. You're asking me, what it is, okay? And I'm telling you, I pay a tax to make a trade. On top of the tax, they're front running my orders and they're basically fake putting out offers or bids that we can't hit. So that's what I deal with. Okay. That has nothing to do with AI and quant. That has to do with illegal front running and having access to my orders before they hit the exchange. That is illegal. Okay. I've been saying that for years. I actually talk to attorneys. Everybody's afraid of the exchange or whatever to take this on, but they're taking money on every trade, and there's no reason they should see my trade before it hits the floor. That has nothing to do with AI. That has nothing to do with quants. So that's my dilemma of what the guy right behind me faces all day, and we trade. I don't know how many options we trade a day. 50,000. What do you mean a lot? Tens of thousands, probably 20. Tens of thousands of options a day, every single day. So that's the tax I pay. So anyway, I mean, that doesn't have anything to do with AI, and that has nothing to do with algos. That has to do with front running. So that's my biggest thing. I'm not worried. The algo, yeah, he may take me down, okay, but that's layer number three before I even get to where I need to be. And there's something called spoofing and layering and all these other things which we could discuss. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow, so I can tell people out there what that's all about. But anyway, listen, let's just get to the markets. I want to wrap this up. We talked a little bit about gold. Oil bounced slightly again, trading 59. I spoke to one of the greatest crude oil traders of all time this weekend. I won't disclose his name. He said if oil gets into the middle to high 50s, it's a generational buy, is what he said. Okay.
Wow.
Now, so I'm looking in those
Why?
levels.
What was his? Did he give you a why?
Yeah. He basically said that oil shouldn't be trading at these levels. It's too cheap. So, I mean, obviously he has some other reasons. He didn't really go into it. He just said, "Hey, I would back the truck up here at these numbers." So that's,
It's
what.
interesting. I tried to get long last night. It's not working so far, but
So
I'm
you've been
trying.
long oil the whole way down, literally the whole way down. Okay,
Really? Oh,
so
I didn't know that. But okay.
okay, I don't know. On this podcast, you told me you've been long oil. You were long oil 2 days ago. I don't know. So whatever. You weren't long oil anyway. Bonds are closed today, Indigenous Day, and they're not moving much. But really, the mover is gold. Currencies are kind of, dollar actually has some strength. The yen, I was in Japan in May, and the dollar was only 140. It's 153. I wish I was there now. I'd be buying more stuff or having more dollar, leverage. But overall, I would watch today. If the market weakens up late in the day, I think you could try the short side again. These guys are thinking it's pretty amazing after the down move we have. They think they have the all clear signal because Trump said that she is a good guy. Like, does it mean he's not putting tariffs on? What does it mean? And even if he puts no tariffs on, tariffs are still 55%. And China doubled down on Sunday against us. They're tariffing every ship that comes in. They're like going on board and they're making sure they tariff. So they're not backing down. And they literally came out and said they're not afraid. So I think Trump is afraid. So we'll see how that plays out. Again, if the market weakens up after the opening, it may be a decent level to short it. Market is up 80 spoo handles, which is half of what it was down on Friday, which is, I mean, you're not looking at this saying this is unbelievable. I mean, literally. We had our first down
I,
1% day in 4 months. Okay. And then we're followed up where we're up a percent plus on the opening after
I
having our first down day.
Friday I sent you that taco emoji for a reason. I mean, this is what they do. This is going to
Eric,
be a
but I
drawn out
listen.
saga.
You've
Every
been
day we're going to
extra.
have
You've been
headlines.
extra on this podcast today, so I'm going to finish up like this. Okay, the market needed a sell off. It was a BS excuse. Him putting tariffs on November 1st. What did that have to do with yesterday or Friday? What did that have to do with it? He every other time he said November or a month later, everyone's like, "Oh, he's not doing anything." The market needed a correction. It needs more of a correction. That's what I'll tell people out there. It needs more of a correction. I think we're going to come in decently here. Just watch after the opening, see what the action is. Also, I'll leave it with this. One of the top analysts on the street, okay, is a very close friend of mine, and he texted me. He's been made by his firm to be bullish. He texted me the devil mask, okay? And he knows if he's watching what that means, okay? The bottom line is he was worried about his 500 puts on the SPY. It's like 100. It's far out of the money. So here's a guy that's bullish. but he's not bullish. So anyway, we're 5 minutes from the opening. Sorry to keep you guys so long. I hope you guys enjoyed it, got something from it. A lot more to talk about this week. Keep an eye on the straddle. Keep an eye on the VIX. I like buying VIX for a month out here. I don't think we're done by any means. To be honest with you, I know you do. You think everything's fine, and he tacoed out. I don't think this trade has to do with taco. Okay.
I, okay, full disclosure, I don't think that, but go on, go on.
Well, what do you think?
I think the market's got some problems.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what that means. For anyone out there, if you could decipher that for today's trading,
I'll leave it.
let me
I'll leave
know.
it with this.
Okay.
I'll
The
leave
S
it with
and
this.
P timeout. The S&P is up 80. Okay. Where are we ending today?
Just take a look at KKR. Take a look at all these private equity companies, Blackstone. Take a
Well,
look
yeah,
at
take a look at every real estate stock. Take a look at
yeah,
every REIT. They're destroyed, but
yeah.
somehow
There's
the Mag 7 is
something's
good.
off.
So that's all that
Yeah,
matters.
something's
Anyway,
off.
we're off. Good luck, everybody. I say lower. I asked Eric at up 80 on Spoos what he thinks. He's still not telling anybody. So
Because
we're going to end with that. Have a good day. Peace.